AITA for not punishing or reporting student. I'm a teacher. A parent sent me screenshots of her daughter's text messages. A student of mine who is a boy, 13 meters, had texted a girl who is also my student, 13F. This was the conversation. Boy, hey, it's boy's name, I really like you. Girl, what do you mean? Boy, I have a crush on you, do you want to maybe date? Girl, no I don't like you, sorry. Boy, oh okay. This was the extent of his pursuit of her. The mother said they are way too young to date and said that this was harassment. She wanted me to punish or report the boy and remove him from the class. I told her those demands are ridiculous. It wasn't harassment because he accepted her saying no and that it's fairly common middle school stuff. She was pissed and said I need to do my job. NTA. I mean come on. Who didn't ask each other out in their teens? The boy accepted the no. End of. If he kept pursuing, different story, but still not sure what you as a teacher could do if it's out of school. NTA. And yeah, I'm not sure what school has to do with any of this. If this harassment happened at school and it was actually serious, then sure. If every man in the world handled a rejection as well, this boy world be a better place. TBH. NTA. How can boys learn how to healthily communicate with girls and accept rejection when people like that mother treat them like criminals for even talking to a girl? My thoughts exactly. Like, please don't punish this young impressionable boy for doing the right thing and acting in a correct manner. This is how interactions like this should go. Taking no for the final answer and moving on is how it should be. NTA. NTA. He asked her out. Politely even. And immediately backed off when told she wasn't interested. No pressuring or insults. If anyone is guilty of harassment, it's the mother of the girl. I would recommend documenting the incident, though, partly to protect yourself from retaliation and to protect the boy as well, just in case the mother decides to escalate and accuse him of worse than just asking a girl out in a non-aggressive manner. NTA. This is not harassment. The male student accepted her response, which is actually pretty mature for his age. In the real world, people handle rejection or the discomfort of not returning somebody's feelings and move on. Parent has overreacted. NTA. Exclamation mark. She wants to get the poor boy in trouble just because he asked her daughter out but accepted it when she said no. That was totally not harassment and there is nothing to report. Ask the parents to come to your office to have a chat about this. Offer them a glass of water, and if you can find some really disgusting snack, they will probably take the glass of water. But when you offer them something they don't want and they say no, accept that and then ask them if there was any difference in the wording, replies and situation. You offered, just as the boy offered. They declined, just as the girl declined. And he accepted it, just as you accepted them for not wanting your disgusting snack. If they want to sue you for harassment for pickle juice, so be it. NTA. NTA. Were these texts sent during school? How is this the school's jurisdiction to punish a student for? If she feels her daughter is too young to date, then she can talk to her daughter about her expectations. This has nothing to do with the learning environment. Were these texts sent during school? How is this the school's jurisdiction to punish a student for? Obviously these aren't harassment that the school needs to deal with, but with cyberbullying being what it is, if two kids have an interaction that is harassment outside of school hours, the school will sometimes still get involved. NTA. Ages aside for a moment, how is anyone ever supposed to get a date if the simple asking someone out is harassment, then stopping when they say no? As for being too young, that's for the parents to decide and make punishments if the rules are broken. Teachers sometimes have a crappy job when parents expect teachers to be the parents also, then get mad when they try. NTA. I mean, that's about as wholesome as romantic disinterest gets. There was nothing worth reporting on either side of the interaction. I would make sure you document this, though, to protect yourself. Save the message from her and your response. If your response was oral, then document when you spoke to her and what you said as precisely as you can. And consider doing it in writing in future. This sounds like the kind of parent who will try to go over your head to get you in trouble. This is the digital equivalent of a note that says, "Do you like me? Check yes or no." And more power to the young man for powering through and explaining what he meant by "I like you," when it could have been easier just to dip out. If the mom doesn't want her daughter dating, then that's on her to communicate that to her daughter, who then has to be the one to enforce that boundary/rule. Other kids at the school errand the moms to discipline, even vicariously through the school. NTA but echo comments to let someone in admin know so mom can twist the story. Public service announcement for anyone saying that Title 9 would classify this as sexual harassment. You clearly have no idea what Title 9 actually says. In order to give rise to a complaint under Title 9, sexual harassment must be sufficiently severe, persistent, or pervasive that it adversely affects a student's education or creates a hostile or abusive educational environment. For a one-time incident to rise to the level of harassment, it must be severe. This boy has not been persistent. The interaction was not severe. This is actually the scenario you hope for when one student is not interested in the other. NTA at all. If you punished him, what would it be for? Expressing his feelings for a classmate to her in a healthier manner than most adults would. Honestly, I'm not sure what the mother thinks the lesson here would be. You're a good teacher for not criminalizing healthy communication. NTA. This is not harassment or inappropriate behavior. But if I were you, no matter how trivial the issue seems, would report this complaint to the appropriate person so you can cover your job. Ignoring the parent might do more harm than it would good for you, and it is likely nothing will come out of it anyway. If my child was reported by a teacher for asking a fellow student out like in this scenario, the teacher would be in huge trouble. Reporting this incident is beyond trying to protect the teacher's job. In fact, reporting this incident would show that the teacher cannot do their job and should not have it. They need to make decisions on what is harassment and not in their class. EHH. My interpretation was that the reporting would be more. This student's mother showed me these texts. I told her I would not be punishing the boy since has done nothing wrong, but she was upset about it. I'm showing you this so that you aren't surprised and have all the information. If this parent tries to bring it up with you, it's not to ask the admin to do anything about the incident. It's so that if/when the mother decides to complain to admin, the admin isn't getting some twisted story from her that results in both the boy and the teacher getting in trouble. FFS. NTA. That boy behaved /exactly / the way he should have. He was polite. He didn't apply pressure. He didn't attempt to shame or harass. He accepted no. That mom is bizarrely protective, and the daughter is going to be 30 when her mother starts demanding grandkids out of the other. NTA. This message is a long way from even light harassing. He asks a question, gets an answer, and moves on from it. Even asking the girl why she didn't like him wouldn't have been too far. You'd have to be looking at something far more in depth and pestering to consider it a punishable offense. NTA. It's a modern version of circle yes or no, and the boy not only accepted no, but didn't push it. It let the principal know so they can be prepared if mom calls or shows up ranting or trying to get you reprimanded or fired, or tries to push for the parents of the boy to suffer repercussions or have boy punished. Boy should actually be commended for maturely handling no, and girl's mom should probably be told so. You are doing your job. You're a teacher, and your job is to teach your students. You're teaching your students what is acceptable behavior by realizing that the boy is not, in fact, harassing the girl, as he stopped as soon as she said no. You're teaching healthy boundaries. NTA. NTA. I'm an educator, and like all educators, we are mandated reporters. That means, when we see harassment, we are required to report it. We take this very seriously, because we could be convicted if we don't report. This is not anything I would ever consider reporting. It's preposterous that she's all riled up about it. NTA. Mom is being unreasonable and overprotective. She needs to realize her daughter is becoming a woman, and this kind of thing isn't going to stop if this one boy gets punished. As a former middle school teacher, I found this very common for this age. They're starting to learn the ropes of a relationship, and often being BF and GF means nothing. just holding hands, or going to a movie with parents. NTA unless there is more evidence the boy is harassing the girl or anything else happened, nothing should be done. It's hard enough as a 13-year-old boy to work up the courage to ask someone out and also have the maturity to be like okay and not become disrespectful. It's probably embarrassing enough that many of his peers probably know as well, and parents might get involved. 3 things. Any school will have established policies regarding punishable offenses. Private conversations off of school property do not fall under teacher/school purview. This conversation does not constitute harassment. This feels like a bogus post. Info. Definitely not the asshole. But methods for handling this kind of scenario are usually covered pretty extensively in most teacher training programs. Especially since what your students are texting to each other has nothing to do with your job as their teacher. So I'm just a little confused about why you'd think you may be in the wrong, since getting any more involved in something like this would have been a little inappropriate. NTA if I was in your place I would call her daughter to my office and have a chat with her, tell her that her mom says that this boy is harassing you and ask her what did he do. If it's just the massage, explain to her that's not harassment, he simply asked her, and when she said no he backed off. But if he did anything else to her in school she needs to come to you and you will deal with it this way. You show the mother that you listen to her and you take your job seriously, and in the same time you don't have to bring the poor boy into this at his age. It's enough that she rejected him. He doesn't need the humiliation of his teacher speaking to him about it when he did nothing wrong. NTA. I worked on the Title IX board at my university for several years. I can assure you that this interaction is not harassment. It's actually exactly how we wish most interactions would happen when one student is not interested in the other. If the boy continues to pursue the girl, that's a different story. But at this time he has done nothing wrong and should not be held accountable for this mother's stupidity. NTA you are doing your job. The whole point of asking consent is this. Yes, there's a risk of being rejected, and that boy took it better than many adults. The audacity of that mom is beyond stupid. He did the right thing, and she wants him punished for that. NTA. Not sure what US rules are, but over here, if a complaint that warranted dealing with came to me, I would need to refer it up the chain. I certainly wouldn't go to the child or parent/carer. If anything, I may need to keep an eye on the rejected, as I'm sure we all remember how it felt to be knocked back at 13. NTA. People should get their heads out of that pile of sand of delusion and acknowledge that teenagers have romantic feelings and start to ease into being adults with a date/sex life. This whole demand from that mother is ridiculous. NTA. You are doing your job. Anything the kids do outside of school hours is not your problem. Plus, like you said, he accepted her saying no and didn't harass her. She's being a helicopter parent, and I'm willing to be my last dollar that her daughter has no idea her mom is getting into her phone and accessing her texts and other private and personal info. I bet if daughter knew she'd be furious and horrified at the breach of trust and violation of her privacy. Go to your boss though and make them aware of this situation and the boy's parents, if possible, in case the helicopter mom tries to harass the boy for asking out her daughter. NTA. But I imagine a scenario where I do report this so that admin can call the girl into the office and praise her for setting boundaries, and then call the boy into the office and praise him for respecting boundaries. With this being said, that boy had a lot of courage to tell the girl he liked her and did nothing wrong. Imagine how mortified you'd be if someone told you that you were wrong after being rejected in middle school. You'd probably be mortified if anyone ever talked about it again. NTA. If that's it, and there is no more to it, the other mother should be happy he shows that level of self-control and respect for her daughter. The boys she needs to worry about are the ones who keep pressing the issue, and regardless of her own thoughts on dating, other parents might feel differently. NTA. And there is not a darn thing you should do about it. Mom is a bit naive if she thinks 13-year-olds aren't dating, which means nothing at that age. I teach 13-year-olds as well. This is not something you need to involve yourself in, if wasn't harassment in any form. NTA. If the kids are communicating with private devices, I fail to see what the teacher/school is supposed to do about it. If the mom has a problem, she should contact the boy's parents. It is bizarre to me what parents think teachers/schools should be responsible for. Schnuts. My daughter was in the 5th grade last year and a 6th grader came up at karate from school and said, "Hey, give me your number, you can be my girlfriend." She was like, "I'm 10. I don't need no damn boyfriend." And it ended there. Don't see why this mom is so out of shape about it. If you enjoy watching these videos, make sure to hit the subscribe button and like this video. Thanks.